spoke so beautifully. He promised change, but things changed for the worse. Obama started spending like our credit cards have no limit. His healthcare law made health insurance even more expensive. We've had stimulus and bailouts. Obama added almost $16,000 in debt for every American. How will my kids pay that off when they can't even find jobs? Now Obama wants more spending and taxes. That won't fix things. I had so many hopes. Cutting taxes and debt and creating jobs. That's the change we need. Tell President Obama to cut the job-killing debt and support the New Majority Agenda at newmajorityagenda.org.
From Iraq and Afghanistan, our brave warriors are coming home, wounded. Some with wounds you can see, some with wounds you can't see. Wounded Warrior Project was created to support our men and women coming off the battlefield. Please help carry these warriors the rest of the way home. Get involved at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Feeling lonely this holiday season?
Looking for little human interaction?
Do you want to feel contact in certain special places?
Then why not go through security at an airport?
The TSA.
TSA agents are ready and standing by to give you a little something extra to feel thankful about this holiday season.
TSA.
What are you waiting for? I want to check under your testicles.
Spending time with a TSA agent couldn't be easier. Simply book a flight departing from any American airport. When selected for a full body scanner, say no. You'll be pulled aside by a TSA agent, and that's when the fun begins. And you never know who your agent will be.
It could be me. Or me.
Or even me.
But it's probably gonna be us. Take off your damn shoe.
The TSA. It's our business to touch yours.
Welcome to the Bureau of Womanhood Conformity. Independent thoughts are considered subversive because all must agree with our leader.
When it comes to women, preventive care should include coverage of contraceptive services such as birth control.
You see, if you don't believe government should pay for your birth control, you're not a real woman. Womanhood denied. If you refuse to accept that pregnancy is a punishment, you're denied as well.
I don't want them punished with a baby.
If you don't believe that abortions should be allowed for any reason, if you don't believe in aborting a child for being the wrong gender, and if you don't believe that stay-at-home mothers aren't real workers, you are not a real conformed woman.
His wife has actually never worked a day in her life. His wife has actually never worked a day in her life.
Finally, for your safety, if you oppose mandatory government health care, you will die.
They will be voting to say that women can die on the floor.
These standards and regulations were formed after our glorious victory in the war on women. Thank you for your cooperation and your conformity.
Today is a special day. Today we gather as a nation and as an international community to recognize the selfless decision of one of the most influential women of our time. She's been recognized by religious figures and politicians around the world. To us, she's just Rachel. But to the rest of the world, she is the woman who, after having one too many drinks, chose not to drive home buzzed. Here today to honor Rachel is the family whose lives she spared.
Save a life.
don't drive buzzed. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I was in chronic pain, and my family struggling to make ends meet, food and gas prices going up, even keeping my job was iffy. Then I learned about a new miracle drug made in Washington, D.C., Spenditol. Spenditol is Washington's answer to all the painful problems Americans face. How to borrow $800 billion for a stimulus that didn't create jobs or fix the economy? Spenditol.
Spenditol is not for everyone. Side effects may include a mountain of government debt piled on our kids, a sudden loss of freedoms, higher prices for everything, leaving our kids a lesser America than we had. Ask your doctor or congressman if your conscience is strong enough for Spenditol.
And it's so popular in Washington, we have to import trillions more of it from China. Spenditol makes you feel better now and pushes off the really bad stuff till later, for them to deal with.
Call the White House and Congress. Tell them, stop spending it all.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
And end of an era, folks. Not error, era, E-R-A, and not earn run average. An end of an era. The government, end of the government check era is approaching. For all you procrastinators out there who haven't, and there's going to be some of you that still will say, well, I didn't know. I swear I did not know. Your benefit check from the federal government, you have less than 2 months to go paperless. Now, the problem is that a lot of low income people for whatever reason, don't have bank accounts. So they have to use these non-bank account banks or cards, which charge some hefty fees, and there's who's the musician rapper that has Mike is going crazy here. He's got a card. I can't remember who it is that has the card that charges hefty fees for these prepaid things. But they're out there, I guess. That's so you can load these cards with direct deposits, and they're kind of expensive. On a monthly, it's for monthly fees, more than a regular bank. So people are going to have to go to banks, and I know there are some people out there that are saying, well, this direct deposit thing that everybody's being forced to from their employer to government is just it's a conspiracy by the banks, by the Bilderbergs and the Federal Reserve to get our hands on our money. I know people who don't like banks. I know. And here's the deal. As soon as your paycheck or whatever your deposit hits, you go and you remove the money and put it in a different account or just take it out. Because a lot of banks will give you a free account if you get direct deposit. Now, there's usually a reason for that, because direct deposit for a lot of people, a lot of companies and stuff, some companies will say, if you have direct deposit, you'll get your pay after 12 noon on Thursday instead of getting a check on Friday. Or a lot of companies, especially depending on the bank, will record your deposit at 12:01 a.m. that Friday. Now, banks are doing this direct deposit thing and pushing it because they know that you are not going to go for your money until sometime Friday afternoon. So they've got, up to 36 hours of investment use of your funds, and these are the games. Banks can do these overnight investments, as it were, that we're not privy to. A bank can do and make a lot of money on without having to pay you for it. It's kind of like how you can earn interest. You know, the old, when you wrote a check, and back in the day when it took more than 3 days for a check to clear, it could take a week or 2 weeks for a local check to clear the bank. And you were always told to pay everything with a check, especially when you had an interest-bearing account. Why? Because you played the float. In other words, you were able to spend the money and pay for goods or services while still having your money work for you. In a lot of cases, it helped people increase their average daily balance so they could either lower or eliminate bank fees. It increased their average daily balance so they could qualify for, interest payments or a slightly higher interest rate. It was a good tactic, but it doesn't work so well anymore because, checks usually clear within 1 to 3 days, even if it's out of state. So it doesn't take that long. And sometimes it's all, you can actually take a picture. With some banks, with using using one of their apps, you can actually take a picture. You don't even have to go to the bank. All you do is endorse it. You take a picture of the front and back, and your bank uses it as if it were a debit card. They deposit the money and they debit the other person. So you could write you could write a company or somebody a check at, say, for lunch, and by 1 p.m. the money's out of your account and in theirs. That's how quick these things are now. It acts almost like a debit card. So the whole check floating thing doesn't work anymore. But the government says that it's March 1st of this year is the deadline for nearly everyone who receives Social Security Supplemental Security Income, or SSI, or veterans benefits to switch to the government's new electronic payment system. The Go Direct program, which, by the way, launched back in 2005, has already converted 93% of all benefit payments. New recipients have been all paperless since 2011. Now, I don't understand, if you're going to make this program, launch this program in 2005, why do you wait 6 years before you start making new recipients follow this new rule? I know it's government. After March 1st, the only remaining exceptions will be beneficiaries over the age of 90. So at some point, all these 90-plus-year-olds are going to die out, so they'll be gone. Residents of remote areas that lack electronic payment options, or people with mental impairment issues that hamper their ability to manage finances. Now, you would think that people who have mental issues that hampers their ability to manage finances, that they're the ones that probably should get a direct deposit because they don't have a chance to do anything with it. If they have a custodian of their funds, they don't get a chance to do anything with a check. It's already there. It's in their account. And so the custodian, who would have to get the check from the recipient anyway and deposit it, there could be some time there that the recipient, if he's not that good with their money, his money, can cash it himself or do something else with it, like take payment for some. There have been there was a thing where senior citizens, or not senior citizens, people that would get SSI, they would turn over their checks for less than face value because they got instant cash. To pay for drugs and stuff like that. And those are people that usually didn't have access to sole access to their own funds. They could do that with a check because a government check cannot say, or does not say, in most cases does not say, to the care of, or somebody else. If you're the recipient, somebody else's name can't be on the check. It won't be on the check, for whatever reason. So if you're over 90, or if you live in a remote area that lacks electronic payment options, now I don't know any place in the country that has it, but I suppose in some remote areas that is possible. But there are online banks now, like Orange Bank, which that they don't have any physical offices. It's all they are is an online system. You know, there are asset management accounts where you can have your checks deposited to.